Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily current affairs session as well as Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 29th and 30th August 2023 for the news which came in Indian Express. Okay, let's analyze the today's as well as yesterday's current affairs which came in Indian Express newspaper. These are all the important articles which we are going to discuss in the upcoming slides. Have a look at it. Okay. India's current account deficit seen falling to around 1% of the GDP. So, okay, let's look into the analysis part of the news. First, what does the news mentioned is that according to the Fitch rating agency, with narrowing trade deficit, they are expecting that our current account deficit are likely to narrow down by 1% of GDP this year. But due to reduction in the export as well as increase in the import, the CAD, that is current account deficit, might be increasing in the next quarter, that is the second quarter of this financial year. Okay, how the news is related to civil service examination is that it is related to prelims under a topic called economic as well as social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives, etc. And then under mains topic, under GS3 topic called economic development, under it a subtopic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, let's discuss how the previous year questions were asked in relation to the current account deficit. Consider the following actions which the government can take: devaluating the domestic currency, reduction in export subsidy, and adopting suitable policies which attract greater FDI and more funds from FII. During the time of current account deficit, the government will be devaluating the domestic currency only. Why? Because is that during the time of current account deficit, by devaluating the domestic currency, we could able to promote the export. Because why? Because of devaluating the domestic currency, our rupee become very cheaper, so that our products which are getting exported towards the other countries will be sold in the very cheaper amount, as a result of which our demand for the international demand for our local products will get increased. So the statement 1 is correct. And during the time of current account deficit, government will only wanted to increase its export, so that the trade deficit will get reduced, which in turn will have the reduced current account deficit. So that during the time of the current account deficit, it will only boost the export subsidy to promote the export. It will not reduce the export subsidy, and also that it will form a policy in such a way that it will attract the foreign direct investment as well as foreign institutional investments. So answer is option D, 1 and 3. Okay, let's first look into what is this current account deficit is about. Current account deficit is nothing but the value of imports in goods as well as service is greater than the value of exports in goods as well as service, means then it is called as, the situation is called as current account deficit. Okay, let's look into what is current account, what constitutes the current account. The current account comprises of trade in goods as well as service or invisibles. Where the imports as well as exports in merchandise goods will be calculated under trade in goods. So based upon the quantity of imports as well as export, the trade deficit will be calculated. If the quantity of merchandise import is higher than the quantity of the merchandise import, that is quantity of merchandise export which is exported to other country, then the situation is called as trade deficit. Whenever the quantity of imported merchandise goods is lesser than the quantity of exported merchandise goods, means then such kind of situation is called as trade surplus. Under service or invisibles, it is again subdivided into three types. One is factor income, which includes the income which is earned from the abroad in the form of dividend or interest, profits, etc. And under non-factor incomes, the incomes which are earned by providing services like banking, insurance, health, transport, etc. Then transfers, like the remittance which are paid from other countries to the people who are residing in India. So based upon these three components, service surplus as well as service deficit will be calculated. So by combining these two categories, the current account will be calculated. So if it is lesser than means it is less, means it will be calculated as then if the overall trade in goods as well as service, in a situation where the import of both goods and service is greater than the export of the goods and service, means then the situation is called as current account deficit. On the other hand, if the import of the goods and services is lesser than the export of goods as well as the services, means then the situation is called as current account surplus. Okay, let's look into what are all the causes for current account deficit. The first foremost cause is the exchange rate crisis. Second is inflation. Whenever there is the inflation, our products, our domestic products will become very costlier, so that the international products which is at that time is very cheaper when compared to our domestic product will get higher will get huge demand for those cheaper product which is in international market. So thus that kind of cheaper products will be imported in India, so that import will get increased, which in turn will further increase the current account deficit value. Then global recession. Global recession means slowing of demand in the global economy. So slowing of demand in global economy means then our export will get badly hit because of the lower demand across the globe. But the import will be happening here. So the current account deficit will be rising. Then the trade deficit. The huge trade deficit will also act as one of the causes for current account deficit. And then economic growth. See, the higher economic growth will increase the disposable income. If the disposable income is getting increased, means then there will be a situation where our domestic suppliers could not able to meet the demand of the consumers. So the import of the products will be taking place, which in turn will again lead to increase in current account deficit. Okay, what does the impact that current account deficit causes to an economy is that it lowers the investors' confidence. Second is it will decrease or forex reserve. Then third is it will again depreciate our currency values. Similarly, foreigners' ownership of the asset will get increased. So these are all the impact of current account deficit. So what we needed to study further, what needed to be done is that there need to be reduction in inflation so that our domestic production will have a demand both in domestic arena as well as the international arena, which in turn will enable the export of goods as well as services. Increase domestic reduction and then encourage the rupee trade. The second point is increasing in domestic production. So domestic production is being boosted through various means, like various means of our physical policy means. Then the production will get increased so that they could able to meet the demand of the consumers. So automatically the need for importing will get reduced. Third, encouraging the rupee trade so that depending solely on the dollar will get reduced so that it will act as easing factor for our currency in the exchange rate, forex rate or forex exchange system. So what we needed to study further is we should know about the capital account. Second is we should know about what does the payment of balance of payment is and what constitutes the balance of payment. Third is we should know about forex reserves. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be aware of. So this is what the overall analysis in relation to current account deficit. The cutting edge. According to the report being released by TROI, it has recommended to set up the independent statutory as well as multi-stakeholder authority or body to regulate the artificial intelligence in India. And at the same time, the regulation should not stifle the innovation which is happening around the artificial intelligence. This is what recommended by TROI. And also European model regulatory framework is already in place to regulate the AI system in European Union, and it classifies the AI system on 4 types according to the risk it poses. Similarly, the European Union European model calls for European Artificial Intelligence Board to oversee the implementation of the regulation. And the TROI also recommended for forming the global collaboration. As we all know, the technology doesn't have boundary. So the impact of artificial intelligence will have huge ramification across the globe. So that there need to be global collaboration to regulate the activities in relation to the artificial intelligence. So how the news is related to civil service examination is that it is related to civil service examination in prelim stage under a topic called current events of national and international importance. And then under mains GS3 science and technology, a topic called development and their application and effects in everyday lives. Okay, let's have a look into the previous year prelims question in relation to artificial intelligence. With the present state of development, artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following? It will bring down the electricity consumption in industrial unit by increasing the efficiency in monitoring as well as regulating of those industrial units. Yes, the statement 1 is correct. Create meaningful short stories and song. No, it's not so. So till now, it is the drawback of the artificial intelligence to create the meaningful songs or short stories on its own. Then it is very helpful for the health sector, that is mainly in disease diagnosis. Then to convert text to speech conversion. Yes. Wireless transmission of electrical energy. No, it is not so. Till now, it has not been developed yet. So, answer is option B. Answer 1, 3 as well as 4 only. Okay, what is the advantage this artificial intelligence brings to that? It reduces human error in terms of operations in the organizations. Second is it allows automating or repetitions of tasks. Similarly, it could able to handle and process huge volume of data at short period of time. So this is what a hectic situation right now. So it will artificial intelligence will ease the handling as well as processing those kind of big data, big amount of data. Then it will because of this advantage like handling and processing huge amount of data, it could able to enable evidence based decision making. And then it could able to increase the transparency as well as accountability in the governance process. Similarly, in environmental areas, it could able to reduce waste as well as harmful emissions that is coming out from the industries. Okay, what is the disadvantages is that it has huge potential to disrupt the privacy of individuals as well as the community, and then it has potential to violate the intellectual property rights of particular individual or the community or the organization, etc. And then it could act as tool for discriminatory because of the hindrance in relation to accessing the technology in governance process, like in the case like because of the problems like digital divide and digital illiteracy. So it could be acting as discriminatory factors. So by neglecting certain section of people from accessing as well as handling this kind of technologies, and then it poses huge security risk, and it also act as threat for displacement of job because of the work the artificial intelligence can do. So what are the measures needed to be taken to avoid this kind of misuse is that first, a dynamic regulatory mechanism needed to be institutionalized, as a result of which the policy making will be in tune with the development or update in relation to the artificial intelligence. Secondly, the ethicals as well as the responsible artificial intelligence needed to be developed. Then third, promoting the international standards in relation to development, research and development, as well as the testing, training, or the other areas that are related to development of artificial intelligence. Fourth, the skill trainings or the expertise person should be developed so that they could able to handle artificial intelligence. So these are all the important measures needed to be taken to avoid this kind of misuse. Then what are the initiatives right now taken by the government is that the government has taken an initiative called National Program on Artificial Intelligence. Secondly, government has taken an important step in the direction of National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System. Then third is the Niti Aayog as well as Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has given some recommendation to regulate the AI, like in the case which you have seen in the explanation. Then the Data Protection Bill, which has been passed now. Then National Cyber Security Policy. So these are all the initiatives being taken by the government to ensure that the artificial intelligence will be responsibly developed as well as used. So what we needed to be study further is that we needed to study about what does the virtual reality and augmented reality means, and also mixed reality means. What is the difference between all of them? Then we should know about what is Internet of Things, blockchain technologies, and about digital currency and Web 3.0 technologies. So these are all the areas which we needed to be aware of. MSP hike by 5 to 10% on kharif crops did not alone move the needle on inflation. MSP from the government side, what they have said is that the MSP rate, not only MSP rate hike, which has been announced recently for the kharif season, it does not alone has increased the inflation. It is because of the rise in the price of vegetables, the overall consumer price inflation has get increased, and at the same time the wholesale price index has a weightage of 2.7% for the MSP products, the products for which the MSP assurance has been given. So this is what the reply from the government side in relation to the pointing the MSP rate hike is the cause for the inflation. How the news is related to civil service examination is that under prelims, a topic called economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives, and under mains it is related under mains at GS3 agriculture topic. Under agriculture, related to a subtopic called issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and MSPs, PDS, objectives, functioning, limitations, revamping, issues of buffer stocks and food securities, technology mission, economics of animal rearing. Okay, let's have a look into how the previous year prelims questions been asked in relation to the news. Consider the following statement. In the case of all cereals, pulses, oil seeds, the procurement at MSP is unlimited in any state or union territory of India. No, it's not so. The open-ended procurement policy has been followed only for rice as well as wheat. But in the case of other products, there are some limitations or criteria has been followed, and under which only they could under that only the state or the central could able to procure. And in the case of cereals and pulses, the MSP is fixed in any state union territory at a level to which the market price will never rise. No, it is not so. It is the MSP price is the minimum assured price, so that the farmers will be getting the minimum guaranteed return, which will be profitable for them. So it will not be set at a level above which the market price will be rising. So it's wrong. Both the statement is wrong. Answer is option D, neither 1 nor 2. About minimum support price. Price at which the government is supposed to procure buy that crops from the farmers. Government decides. It is only the government, Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs, only be deciding the MSP rates in India. Under whose recommendation? Under recommendation of Commission for Agriculture, Cost and Prices. And then how many crops being covered under it are nearly 7 types of cereals, 5 types of pulses, 7 oil seeds and 4 commercial crops being covered under the MSP. Nearly 23 items has been covered under minimum support price. So what is the significance it will hold is that it gives better price for the crop, so that a minimum assured return a farmer could able to get. Similarly, it promotes the growth of oil seeds by giving MSP to the oil seeds, so that our import dependency in relation to the vegetable oils will get reduced. Then third, it also, if the MSP policy has been properly implemented, means it will enable the crop diversification in the agriculture production. So it will have, because if the crop diversification is happening, means there will be ecological as well as economic sustainability will be taking place in the agricultural economy as well as the national economy as well, and then it will bend the demand as well as supply imbalances. So by increasing the MSP rate, we could able to increase the production of those products for which the MSP rate has been hiked, so that the demand as well as supply will get corrected. The imbalance could get corrected. What are the challenges in minimum support price is that it has the ability to rise inflation. Secondly, high input cost. So the input cost has risen to a situation where the MSP which has been assured to the farmers is not enough. Then no guaranteed mechanism. Yes, MSP has been announced, but it is not necessary that government will be procuring the produce from the farmers. The major criticism is that only handful of the state from where the products has been procured, and in that handful of states also only handful of products, more importantly rice and wheat, it is only getting procured by or through the MSP system. And then because of irrationality in the procurement, it leads to surplus procurement, so which in turn it's leading to fiscal burden to the government. So what we needed to do is that there need to be enhancement in the alternative income model, so that it could act as sustainability by giving the farmers the assured returns without costing any fiscal burden to the government, and also not increasing the inflation, as well as safeguards the farmers from the rising burden of input cost. And then the efficiency of the agriculture systems as well as the productivity needed to be enhanced, so that the farmers could able to get assured as well as higher returns. Diversification of procurement will ensure diversification of production, so that economic as well as ecological sustainability will get ensured. So these are all the areas which we needed to improve. Okay, what we needed to study further is that we should know about the constitution provisions in relation to nutrition as well as agriculture. Second is we should know about the PDS system as a whole. Similarly, we should know about the price deficiency scheme. Then should also know about the nutrient based subsidy. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be aware of. The golden boy. See, the Neeraj Chopra has won the first gold medal in the World Athletics Championship, and he is the first person to win the gold medal in the World Athletic Championship in men's javelin throw. So what the author of the news has mentioned is that the big throwing German trios as well as former champion Anderson Peters and then Arshad Nadeem all are throwing at the constant distance of 90 meters mark will pose a challenge for Neeraj Chopra in the upcoming Paris 2024's Olympic. But the author has said that the consistency and the training of the Neeraj Chopra will enable him to overcome these kind of challenge in the international events, more importantly in the Olympic Paris Olympic 2024 next year, which is going to be held in next year. So how the news is related to exam is that it is related to prelims under a topic called current events of national as well as international importance. So the prelims question which was asked in previous years in relation to the sports is, consider the following statement in respect of ICC World Test Championship. The finalists were decided by the number of matches they won. No, it is not so. The finalists were decided by the points, not by the number of matches won. Second is, New Zealand was ranked ahead of England because it won more matches than the England. No, it is not. In the points table, New Zealand was below the England, but in the case of overall points, the New Zealand was higher than way higher than the England. So based on the points only they are selecting. So both the statement is wrong. Answer is option D. Neither one, not two. Okay, let's look into World Athletic Championship. What does it is about? The World Athletic Championship was inaugurated in 1983, and World Athletics is the body responsible for conducting the World Athletic Championship biannually. Initially, till 1991, it was held every 4 years, and it is the alongside Olympic. World Athletics Championship is the highest international arena where the outdoor athletics competitions in tracks as well as field events will be conducted. So these are all the important details related to World Athletics Championship. Then who are all the persons have already won the World Athletic Championship medal is that Anju Bobby George won bronze medal. In long jump. Similarly, last year Neeraj Chopra won silver medal in the same World Athletic Championship, and this year he has won the gold medal in the World Athletic Championship. So these are all the previous medals won by India in the World Athletic Championships. So what is the World Athletics is about? World Athletics is the international governing body of the World Athletic Championship, as well as governing body for sports as well as sports of tracks and field events, and it was formed in 1912 after the Sweden Olympics in the name of International Amateur Athletic Federation. And in 2001, because of changes in the socio-economic as well as socio-political system, both in international as well as the individual countries arena, the name has been changed to International Association of Athletic Federations. Similarly, in 2019, the name got changed to World Athletics, and the World Athletics is headquartered in Monaco, and it has totally 214 members, and India is also one of it. So this is what the news is related to. So what we needed to study further is, we should know about what is the Indian International Olympic Association, and then we should know about the sports schemes in India to promote sports as well as sports related infrastructure in India. Then third, we should know about the Olympic Federation of India and the structure as well as the functioning of it. Financial Stability Development Council panels resolves to remain vigilant. The RBI governor is the head for subcommittee of Financial Stability Development Council, and they have decided to remain vigilant against any kind of threat that is happening to the fiscal stability as well, and vulnerability to India. So how the news is related to civil service examination is that it is related to prelims under a topic called economic and social development sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographic, social sector initiatives. Under mains, it is related to Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, let's have a look into Fiscal Stability Development Council. It is very short news and it is very important from the prelims perspective. It is established in 2010 as the executive body under the chairmanship of Ministry of Finance. The council is headed by Finance Ministry and it has members from all financial sector regulators like RBI, SEBI, Pension Fund Regulatory Authority, and then Insurance Regulatory Authority, Finance Secretary, Secretary of Department of Economic Affairs, Secretary of Department of Financial Service, Chief Economic Advisors. And what it aims is, it wanted to strengthen as well as institutionalize the mechanism for maintaining financial stabilities as well as enhancing the inter-regulatory coordination. Because of the changing global arena as well as increasing in the financial related activities, there has been overlap in the regulatory working of the regulatory bodies. So to act as inter-regulatory coordinating agency and then promoting the financial sector development as the whole. And it has been introduced based on the recommendation of 2008 Raghuram Rajan Committee. And it monitors macro prudential supervision. That is, it will monitor the economy from the macro perspectives. How the news is related to exam is there? A civil service examination is that? Let's look into it. With reference to Financial Stability and Development Council, consider the following statement. It is an organ of NITI Aayog. It is headed by Union Finance Ministry. It monitors macro prudential supervision of the country. It has been asked in 2016 prelims. I want those students, those who are watching the session, please do comment the option point, the correct option point for the answer which you are seeing right now on the board. Okay students, with this we have reached the end of the session. I hope you would have got benefited from the today's current affair analysis. Hope it will be very helpful for you and there will be more videos will be coming for you in the future dates also. Thank you.